The story of the Exodus is a timeless tale of faith, courage, and divine intervention. It begins with Moses, a Hebrew raised in Pharaoh's palace, returning to Egypt after years of exile. God chose Moses for a crucial mission to free the Israelites from slavery. Moses stood before Pharaoh, demanding the release of his people. He spoke with the authority of God, but Pharaoh's heart was hardened. He refused to acknowledge the God of Israel and clung tightly to his power. This defiance set the stage for a dramatic confrontation, one that would shake the very foundations of Egypt. Pharaoh, blinded by pride and arrogance, believed himself to be a god among men. He scoffed at Moses' words, dismissing the Israelites' pleas for freedom. The Egyptians, used to wielding absolute power over their Hebrew slaves, saw no reason to change. They continued their cruel practices, their hearts unmoved by the suffering they inflicted. Little did they know, the God of Israel was about to unleash his wrath. He would show Pharaoh and all of Egypt the consequences of defying his will. The stage was set for a series of divine judgments, each more devastating than the last. The first plague turned the lifeblood of Egypt, the Nile River, into blood. Fish died, the water became undrinkable, and a stench filled the air. Next, hordes of frogs swarmed the land, invading homes and fields. Lice followed, infesting people and animals alike, causing unbearable itching. Wild animals, driven by some unseen force, terrorized the land, adding to the chaos. Pestilence struck next, a deadly disease that decimated Egyptian livestock. Painful boils erupted on the skin of the Egyptians, a visible manifestation of their suffering. Then a fearsome hailstorm, unlike anything Egypt had ever seen, ravaged the land. Hailstones, mixed with fire, destroyed crops and structures, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Locusts, a living plague, descended upon Egypt, devouring every green plant in sight. Darkness, thick and impenetrable, enveloped the land for 3 days, amplifying the sense of dread and despair. Yet, even in the face of these calamities, Pharaoh's heart remained hardened. He refused to relent, clinging desperately to his pride and power. Finally, the 10th and most devastating plague struck, the death of the firstborn. In every Egyptian household, from the humblest dwelling to the palace itself, the firstborn child died. The cries of mourning filled the air, a chilling testament to the plague's devastating power. The Israelites, protected by God, remained untouched by the plagues. Each judgment served as a reminder of their God's power and faithfulness. As the plagues intensified, so too did their hope for deliverance. Finally, after the 10th plague, Pharaoh could bear no more. His spirit broken, he finally relented, allowing the Israelites to leave Egypt. Their departure was hasty, a mix of relief and disbelief. They left behind generations of slavery, carrying with them only what they could carry. It was a bittersweet moment, the joy of freedom tempered by the memories of suffering. The Israelites, led by Moses, embarked on a perilous journey through the wilderness. They had escaped the clutches of Pharaoh, but their freedom was still fragile. They were a people without a home, facing an uncertain future. Word soon reached Pharaoh that the Israelites had fled. His anger reignited. He gathered his army and set out in pursuit. The Israelites, trapped between the pursuing Egyptians and the Red Sea, were filled with fear. It seemed their newfound freedom would be short-lived. In that moment of desperation, Moses called upon the power of God. And then the impossible happened. The waters of the Red Sea parted, creating a dry path for the Israelites to cross. They walked through the parted sea, the walls of water towering on either side, a testament to the awesome power of their God. As the last of the Israelites reached the opposite shore, the waters crashed down, engulfing Pharaoh's army. The Egyptians, who had pursued with such relentless fury, were swept away. The Israelites were safe. They had witnessed the hand of God in all its might. The parting of the Red Sea was more than just an escape. It was a defining moment in the history of the Israelites. It cemented their faith in God and instilled in them the belief that nothing was impossible with him on their side. The Exodus was complete. The Israelites, freed from bondage, were finally ready to claim their destiny.